Hey, we're live.
Are we live, Rod Dodger?
We are.
Over and out. How's that image look?
I think it looks
looking good?
pretty good. I'm going to check it out on my iPad.
We're looking sharp.
Look at HD.
HD, baby. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Hack Shack Studios. RT Bear here, 35-year comic book veteran, working for mainly Marvel DC. I've done a couple indie things here and there. And I am hanging out here at Hack Shack Studios with Taylor Grosso.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'll be here reading your chat. If you want to join the comments, if you want to send us a super chat, give us a little tip, help us do some more studio upgrades like this lovely HD camera that you're seeing right here.
That's a pretty good image. It's a bad Xerox, you guys, but the camera image is pretty good. Yeah, I made a quick image on the computer printer to give you guys something to visually look at, because I'm going to be on the light box again today. So with the way the light box is set up in the studio, it's not, I can't really put it in front of the camera. It doesn't look well. Oh, that looks good. Welcome everybody. And we're going to be taking your chats. I'm going to be drawing a little bit on black and white, and we'll just be hanging out, having a good time. So, hey, if there's any aspiring pencilers or artists out there, why don't you draw along with us? Set up your drawing board, man. Pick up a pencil.
We got Jason Pridle. You're freaking live.
We're freaking live here.
And Orange Pill says, hi, Art. And Slick Jimmy Speak says, sup, brother.
Slick Jimmy, what's up? Here's my light box.
It's a pretty cool light box.
Here's my reference.
So what are you working on right now, Art?
I am drawing Uncle Yi. Uncle Yi
is a pivotal character in, of course, Black and White, which is Art's original creator-owned property made back in the 90s. It was a huge hit back in 94, and we have brought it back as Black and White Remastered. We just got a super chat from Pope Fire, the Starfire Outlaw. She says, Starfire is the best Titan for $1.99.
Yeah, hard to disagree.
Agreed.
She's a powerful character.
Oh, James says, James must have been an OG from when we started this channel. I thought you just had a lamp you put under the glass table rather than a light box. Did you upgrade?
Oh, no, let me show you. This is what I was just joking around. You know, eventually, you guys, when I get a bunch of time, which I'll probably never have in my life, I was playing with the idea that I would put the light box right here.
Seems convenient.
Look at that.
Ooh. Did you just invent something?
I think we invented this a couple chats ago.
Copyright T-Bear 2019.
Yes. So it would be like I think the Disney animators, didn't their animation table have a little light box built in?
It probably did. We should get Floyd Norman on here and ask.
Hey, Floyd. I call him Uncle Floyd.
Aw. Such familiarity.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Let's see. We got quite a few people popping in. Welcome. Don't forget to drop a thumbsy upsies. It helps the channel.
Right here. How about a double go?
Always willing to donate for Starfire propaganda, says Pope Fire. Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. That was very sweet of you.
So I'm trying to think of all the stuff we have on the agenda today. If you guys...
we wrote our butts off this morning.
We did. I'm proud of us.
Yeah. There's sometimes, I don't know if there's any writers out there, but sometimes you hit upon a part of your story and you start fleshing it out, and then you start thinking, how did we ever think we could do this story without this moment or this scene? Yeah, and we had one of those this morning.
Yeah, we composed a scene that was very, very pivotal, and we're getting pretty up there in the script numbers now because we've been sending pages to the letterer, and we're up there in the script. It's pretty weird to think about.
Find. I think it was we're up to 40 now. So 40 these are some of the loose. These are like my loose thumbnails. Look at all the notes and stuff. And this is 38. So, and these are notes here too. So we did 36, 37. That was the pivotal. And then we worked on 38, 39, and 40 this morning.
It's getting up there, guys.
We're figuring out how the suits work.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really cool scene, I think.
Oh, and if you guys don't know, I'm gonna let you see something. Okay, here we go. See this guy right here? This is Uncle Yi.
Aw, there's Uncle Yi.
Oh, it's Uncle Yi.
If you guys have been watching a while, they probably saw that particular shot of Uncle Yi being composed during these streams.
I think if you probably look back at all these streams, there's probably every panel that's in the book somehow in one of these streams.
Yeah, you guys have been watching this book come together piece by piece.
Right now, over me.
The very same.
Hello, Father.
Hey,
Amanda
kid.
just arrived.
Amanda,
I got
you are live.
I got Mom her Valentine's Day present.
What is it? Is it a bustier?
No, some sleepsy shorts.
Is it a box of chocolates? Should I show everybody?
Look how cute they
No
are.
spoilers. She'll see. Those are cute.
Those are cute.
They
I
are.
put them on. I was like, I'm gonna treat my booba.
And secret.
Ooh,
Is that a scent? Oh, this is the front of it. Is that a scented bag?
Yeah.
I know they smell so pure.
I
What's up with that?
I don't want to smell those, but I almost put it up to my nose, like, hey.
And then it turns into a creepy.
Yeah, turned into.
Do you guys have
too late for
Valentine? The stream loved it.
that.
Do you guys and do you, Art, have plans for Valentine's Day?
You know, I'm really thinking that I need to get out of here and
Mom
do
and I are
something.
making lobster.
And do something nice for my sweetie. Well, can we do that and something else?
Okay.
No, don't undo your
No.
shackle.
You can only do that. What we usually do is we used to go out when we were younger, but man, the crowds are nuts on Valentine's.
Oh
man.
yeah.
Like an hour to wait for any decent eatery.
Yes.
And so what we started doing when Amanda was born is, because you're young, you don't want to take a little one out, and I think we tried it a couple times, and not that she was really acting out, but it gets a little hard, I guess.
Yeah.
And so Pamela started getting like lobster tails.
Mm.
And so we started having lobster tails on Valentine's Day. And then what we would do is probably like the day before or a couple days before, we would go out and do something, but not in like crowd kind of way.
I was thinking of going out the day before, but I don't know if do a lot of people do that? Do you think there's gonna be the same kind of crowd?
I think it depends on where you go, but probably not.
I
Usually when we would do it, it was okay.
I have a gift card burning a hole in my pocket. What are you guys talking about?
Holes in their pockets.
Don't let Mike S. Miller see those. Why? What?
Does he smell?
I hope not. What is that alluding to?
I don't know.
Slick.
Do we want to know?
Don't elaborate, please. Slick Jimmy Speak says, Sugar Lightspeed, I don't know if that's someone you know, Art, tells me she wants you to do a pinup for her for an equitable fee, of course.
Slick Jimmy, shouldn't that be in the form of a super chat?
You know what? It's an equitable super chat.
Oh, I'd love to if I had time. That character is pretty cool. And if you guys haven't seen Slick Jimmy's Sugar Lightspeed, it's pretty cool. Sexy little girl killing a bunch of gangsters.
Oh, I know who that is now.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like in a little schoolgirl outfit.
Yeah.
She got like a katana or something.
Cute. Looking good, says Christ Energetics. I think he was talking about the drawing. Let's see. No, I'm sitting alone and will remain that way for the rest of my life, says James. That sounds like a good way to spend Valentine's Day to me.
You know, it sounds like a great way to spend Valentine's Day, right where I'm at right now.
You want to escape.
Yeah, I guess. Now I'm contradicting myself, right?
Let's see. That is the strangest looking crossword puzzle I've ever seen. Allen Brothers Kobe beef tenderloin with lobsters. Thanks, Art.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's hard to beat a good lobster tail. I would definitely rather have that than go out.
Yeah, my wife Pamela makes some kind of, it's like a garlic butter, but it's not just like normal garlic butter. My wife's, her special ingredients always garlic, but it's not in like the usual bitey garlic way. Like she'll infuse it with something else.
She's a very, very good cook, if you guys don't know.
I don't go out and order spaghetti at restaurants just because no one can make it as good as her.
It's really good. I can attest to that. Oh, Unknown Gamer, I was talking about those comic pages. Mike likes to change comic pages to Lone Star. He's going to change Uncle Yi to Lone Star.
Oh. Or Spider-Man. He changes it to Spider-Man and then to Lone Star.
Mike is never going to live this down.
All drawn strangely in Mike Waringo style.
R.I.P. It's horrible.
Did you see what the internet's doing? Like, the power of Mike S. Miller is pretty amazing. Where all these people now are trying to overcompensate, and they're like, "This is Mike Waringo," and they're like showing all their like either their Mike Waringo collection or
that they never shared before.
Yeah, that they never shared before, just to show like some kind of weird solidarity with Mike Waringo. Like Mike Waringo's pissed off that Mike did that. Like,
I don't think he cares.
Yeah, like what the heck, man. At the worst, it was just like a minor, I guess, infraction, right? Like,
yes.
It was Mike's piece of artwork. He could do whatever he wanted with it.
Yeah, it brings into question, like, I don't know, it brings into that, like we talked about it, this whole weird question of like, when somebody gives something to you, is it yours or not? Like, can you really be outraged with anything that they do with it? Like, yeah, he probably should have made a copy, whatever, but like, it was a gift from a friend. It was unused. I don't know.
What if he crashed his car into a wall just to do it? Like, would everybody be still as pissed off?
Only if the car was like
given to him by Mike Waringo.
Yeah, it was a gift from Mike Waringo. Then, we have to destroy him.
Just for the record, I wouldn't do what Mike did, but it is Mike's artwork, and he can do whatever he wants with it. At last I looked, I don't know. This is gonna be very progressive and out there, Taylor. This was a free country.
Ew.
I know.
I wouldn't mind if
I
Mike
thought we could act as individuals and do our own thing.
Not in this world. The Last Orion says, I wouldn't mind if Mike changed the current Captain America to Lone Star.
I have, you know what, you guys, since my little fiasco with Marvel, gosh, how long was it? You've been here 5 years, right?
I think it's actually like 6. I was counting when I started.
So it's probably been 10 years at least since I worked for Marvel. So I have not, other than I think all the Olivier stuff, the Copiel artwork, that Thor series was pretty good. There was a couple series that he did and worked with different writers that were pretty good. So I picked those up. But other than that, I don't think I've really read or picked up a Marvel book. And I'm really only buying those because of the artwork, because I really think that guy's good.
Did I tell you that my mom recently commented on the Domino book and said it was ugly?
No.
The last Marvel book I bought was that, I think Gail Simone wrote it, Domino. And I had it's not very good, spoiler alert.
What?
It was really bad, actually. I hated it. But I think it was like issue 2 or 3 I had sitting out. And my mom's like, that is not something that you guys worked on, right? And I was like, no. And she's like, that thing is ugly as sin. She's like, what is that thing?
You have to name who the artist is now.
I don't know who the artist was on the cover. I can look it up.
See, that's even worse, right? When you don't even know who the either good artist or bad artist is.
It was so bad that my mom took notice of it. It was sitting in a pile. Gosh. Simon says, the Domino dialogue was atrocious AF. Yes. Ooh, and Simon wants to know, Art, if you have any juicy Marvel stories.
I do. I have a lot of juicy Marvel stories.
Some of them I think might require...
Yeah, I may have to do one booming out loud, like my penultimate Marvel story. But
Save that one.
But yeah, there's some stuff. Most of my stories are just hanging out with Marvel guys, not so much Marvel.
Yeah, you've worked. If you guys don't know, somehow Art did like a very, very long run, mostly on X titles.
Yeah, for over a decade, maybe longer.
Longer than some people's careers, so you're bound to have stories.
Yeah.
Let me see. I think I found the cover. I'm not gonna say who did it though, but you know, I'm not gonna drop the thing. It's inappropriate. Yeah.
Domino.
You guys will know. Let's see. I know Art has a grudge with CB Cebulski, says James.
Hell yeah, I do.
And rightfully so, if you've heard that tale.
Yeah, I'll boom it out loud at some point. Not that I'm trying to hold on to my standing at Marvel, because hopefully you guys will keep supporting everything we do, because I would really like to not go back to Marvel ever. And DC I don't have a problem with, but I would like to stay here creating stuff independently for you guys.
Yeah, always keep in mind, you guys, when you pledge towards Black and White, which is still available in demand, by the way, and will be until we go to print. You're not just voting with your dollars, to get the product. You're helping Hack Shack continue to make independent.
Our next project.
Yeah. And that the same goes for Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too, which I don't know if I should recap what that is in case they don't know, if we should save that.
You know what? You drive the ship, because I'm really focused on Uncle Yi.
All right, Uncle Yi needs the full attention.
I'll give you guys an update on Uncle Yi soon.
So if you guys don't know, we're going to be bringing another Indiegogo up this month. It is for Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too, which was Art's first art book. It's a hardcover coffee table book. It's pretty cool. Very nice book. We're going to be bringing it. It's already ready for print. So
yeah, it's done.
Yeah, it is a done book. So the campaign, once we, conclude it, we'll be shipping that stuff out to you after we get it printed. And it's not going to take time away from us to work on Black and White, which is one of the reasons we're doing it. Getting the really cool book into your hands, of course, but also since the remastering process has kind of become more extensive, we've kind of raised our standards of what we considered remastered. As you can see, Art is completely redrawing something right now, which I think goes beyond our original idea of remastering.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. The book and the campaign, the money that comes from that will help us supplement while we continue working on Black and White and help us stay in this indie arena.
Why don't you grab the book and I'll show it to him, since
Yeah, I'll show you real quick.
the audio and visual, since we had this camera.
All right.
We had it up for like 2 hours yesterday. That's why I didn't. So this is the book.
And if you guys want to get like another look at it, the stream before this one, we went for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
We showcased the book and give you a little tour of it.
So it's 52 pages, I believe.
Yeah, 52-page hardcover.
And it's got a foreword by the brilliant Kevin Nolan in here. This one has a doodle, and we will have a tier where I'm going to do doodles for you guys as well.
Yeah, you guys will be picking from an extensive list of characters, so Art can do a head sketch for you.
Yeah, we're going to do doodles in the Oodles of Doodles book.
You can get another doodle. Another doodle
in your doodle book.
Pope Fire to send us another super chat. Thank you, Pope Fire, for Twee Fitty.
Twee Fitty. Thank you so much.
You just want to hear us say Twee Fitty, but that's okay.
You know what, Pope Fire right now? She is on fire.
To all Twee Fitty. Let me see.
Birds of Prey, Gail Simone.
Is there any good DC or Marvel book right now? I've almost stopped buying, and the ink will come off some Marvel books onto your fingers. That happened to me at the Domino book.
Are you serious?
Yes, it stained my hand. I thought I was bruised.
Oh my gosh, they're not even spending money on production now?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Are they still like more money than the DC books? Because at one point, wasn't the Marvel books like $1 more?
I believe so, and they do the whole non-optional digital download thing to try to...
Oh, to justify paying more, right?
Yeah, we promised the ink on Black and White won't come off.
Won't come off in your hands, yeah.
Well, one good book was
Just like
Supersonics.
M&Ms. Sorry.
Melts in your mouth, not in your hands. After finding out what Gail is like, I really regretted purchasing some of her Birds of Prey issue. Well, I mean, you got to separate the art from the artist at some point. Don't feel bad about buying stuff in the past.
Yeah, you guys, personally, I think I was going to be very brutal, but I don't really care for Robert Downey Jr. I think he's a hypocrite and he's a little two-faced. But as an actor, I think he's great. But as a human being, I don't really care for him. Same with like Tom Cruise and a lot of these other actors and even musicians and stuff like that. I think Katie Lang is like wackadoo. Did you see she's got a cable show?
No, what is it?
Oh, Amanda brought it in. Hey, Amanda! Oh, if you guys see this, you're going to poo yourself. What is that Katie Lang thing? She's got an amazing voice when she does crying. That duet she did with Roy Orbison before he died was beautiful. But
No, she was very good.
How about the Katie Lang thing?
Yeah.
There's a YouTube channel called Bearing. It's the chick
Bearing.
version of it.
Oh, his wife. Yeah, I know that chick.
Yeah, and so she was making like a commentary about feminist comedy things, and then Katie Lang is on there, and then she's talking about like, oh, that man who assaulted me, something along the lines of, I wish he'd just take me out to the backyard and put a bullet in my head.
Oh,
because
God.
I'm different, and that's why he attacked me, because I'm different. It was supposed to be like a comedy special.
How hilarious.
It was supposed to be in the form of a joke, right?
Here, my laptop's not charged. Yeah, I think it was supposed to be a joke, and then it just didn't turn out into a joke.
It's okay, man. I know
Yeah.
I put you on the spot. If you can find it, that's great, but I know I put you on the spot. So
Everybody's just sitting there awkwardly like, oh, that's funny.
yeah, haha. It's funny. But you know what I mean? Like she's obviously kind of a weird activist, and I never really thought of her as being any like even sexual. I just thought she was a great singer.
Here, where's your camera?
It's right here. You can put it right under here. You're not gonna dock yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
When I came across this comedian, Hannah Gadsby, and I thought, nice, I love a good comedy.
Hey, Bearing.
Let's give it a watch.
I wonder how a man would feel if that had lived my life. Because it was a man who sexually abused me when I was a child.
This is a comedy?
Was that okay? Why was it okay to pick me off the pack like that and do that to me? It would have been more humane to just take me out to the back paddock and put a bullet in my head if it is that much of a crime to be different.
Oh my gosh. Look, she just slides off the screen.
So much for. I think we just brought this whole thing down.
That's
uplifting and funny.
Yeah,
what a great night of comedy.
yeah. So I was like, yeah,
Wait. So what does that have to do with Katie Lang, though? That wasn't Katie Lang.
It was something that you brought up about that. I forget it. I'd have to play the whole thing, but
No.
yeah, just watch it. It's here's the channel. Just go to the channel.
I don't think anybody's gonna go to the.
I don't think anybody wants to see that.
Yeah.
But it's weird because when they say stuff like that, how is that okay? They assume that everybody in the world thinks it's okay. Nobody thinks that's okay. I don't care who you are or what you are. Being molested or being attacked or being criminalized is not okay. Who are the people that's saying, you know what? You being raped was fine. Like, who are those people? Like, I've never met anybody that's like that.
It's pretty unfair, I think, to like, I don't know. I know, like, I don't really believe in like any kind of like censorship really, but it would suck to go to something that you think is going to be like a night of comedy and then that gets thrown out there because it's like you feel tricked. Like, oh.
Well, also, like, if you want to laugh, like, what if you laugh?
Who's going to laugh at that?
Yeah, but what if you did?
I don't even
then
know.
What are you? Like, at that point, it's like, ha, ha, ha. Oh, my gosh, bullet in your head. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
and then they're like, everybody's looking at it like, what the hell did you just say? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was a comedy club. I thought that was funny. No, that really happened to her.
Well, then why is this here?
Then isn't this more of just like some kind of autobiography? Like, shouldn't this be in the form of a book?
This is horrible.
Yeah, this is disgusting. This is nasty. And who are these people that think like, yeah, and everybody thinks it's okay. Nobody thinks
Nobody
it's okay.
on earth thinks it's
Nobody
okay.
thinks that because you're different, you should be molested. Nobody thinks that unless...
Nobody in the history of ever has ever said that's okay. So
Right.
let's stop pretending like there's somebody who's like, yeah, you deserve, like that person doesn't exist.
Yeah, I've never met that person. I've never read about that person. I'm sure there's some nutty people out there, but I don't think the majority of people think that way or say those things.
Saying it's bad and still being too generous to it. Talking about Domino. Yeah, like I think you have to separate the person from the work at some point. But like, if the work is bad, the work is bad.
Yeah. You should judge their merits on their actions or what they do versus the way they look or or anything else.
If someone's a weirdo but writes a good story, like kudos to them. But if they're a weirdo and then the story shows that they're a weirdo and you don't like it, then by all means,
by all means, put a bullet in their head.
Put a bullet in their head and call it a comedy. I think I wrote myself into working on the Tales from Beyond the Gate project, so it looks like I'm going to do some paid slots sooner than I thought, says Pixel.
Oh, cool.
And Sharon, thank you for sharing the black and white Indiegogo. Yeah, don't forget, you guys.
And also I think Pixel just put up on IndieCron. If you guys haven't or don't know about IndieCron, go there. It's a cool site, and it has the existing, or it has all the CG books, and then it has existing campaigns. Black and White is one of them, and then it has upcoming and Oodles, and I think Black and White 2 is there. I haven't checked if Black and White 2 is up yet.
I believe it is. Yeah, if you look in the coming soon books, and that IndieCron's a really good place to stay up to date on all of these campaigns.
Yes.
Thanks for posting the Oodles link as well. Simon says, ooh, I got to scroll up a little bit. I got a little overzealous. Simon says, you guys are talking about CV Sobolski. I'll take 2 of the Oodles of Doodles. Can't wait. Thank you, Simon.
Sweet.
Yeah, we'll keep you guys up to date on when Oodles lands and everything leading up to that. And if you guys want to join the newsletter in the description, it's a great way to stay informed.
Yeah, we just got prices on some of the printing. It's a little high, so we're still actively trying to get some prices. We want to go with the same person that printed the original run.
Yeah.
Because they did such an amazing job.
We got to talk to them just because, pricing stuff. James says, I don't know if this is true. Marvel wants $8 a book eventually. No one will miss the closed comic shops, right?
$8? Oh, man.
Yeah, Mule says you're talking about, that's her name. I don't know if I can say that on the channel because her name's a little explicit, but
okay.
The female version of Bering, her name sounds like Sugar Mitts.
Yeah.
She's pretty funny. Just
go to the chat. It's there.
Audience gifts Katie Lang money for the therapy sessions and motions awkwardly for a real comedian to step up.
You know, her best performance was on that Pee-wee Christmas special.
She
is out of her mind. That's so amazing.
It's hilarious.
She's just jumping around like a lunatic.
James says, if that's what passes for mainstream comedy now, there is a serious problem. I'll just stick to a Catfish Cooley and other redneck hams.
Yeah, Bill Burr and Adam Carolla and these guys are getting banned from college campuses, but Sugar Mitts.
No, Sugar Mitts is the YouTube channel.
Oh, it's okay. So we don't know who the.
She's a nice lady. I don't know who that comedian is.
Okay.
It's probably best that we don't and we forget about who she is.
Well, the poor girl was
traumatized and taking it out on her audience. I'm traumatized now. Can you just imagine, like, if you went on like a date to like the comedy club and you're leaving, like you said she's gonna be funny. She usually is. What was with that story?
Or could you imagine?
I don't know.
Yeah, since we're on Valentine's Day, it's like you're going out with your love. You know, you're like, hey man, I'll take you to a nice comedy club and get some dinner. Everything, and then you get to hear that, and you're like, "Oh gosh."
Well, we're not going to forget this one.
One of the criteria of comedy is it should be, I don't know, funny.
It's probably been said, but how many pages is the book? Asked Last Orion.
The art book?
Oodles is 52 pages, and Black and White is 54. Yeah,
We like the 50s.
we do. It's our favorite range.
50 Cent.
Let's see. Walter Hudson. I mean, Scott Kurtz is mad at Comicsgate now, specifically at Mike. Says Dynamo. I think a lot of people, a lot of people are mad at Mike.
That's funny though.
Poor Mike. He's I don't know. That's gonna follow him for a while.
Yeah, as long as he keeps getting subs.
I know. That's in the end. That's all that matters. Draken says, "I'm here. You can now celebrate. Finally."
Jeez, we were holding back up to now.
Man, if you would have announced that in a super chat, it would have been like a power move.
Yeah, we probably would have read it with some kind of enthusiasm.
Dynamo says, "Do you think Scott Kurtz really has the energy to follow people? He's at least 500. Hey, don't body shame Scott Kurtz.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is, but Mike has a strange way of making a lot new friends. Man, Mike's the hot topic today. But what should be the hot topic is Valentine's Day coming up.
Yes.
We actually had special Chrono Valentines.
Did we?
We did. Don't you remember? They were amazing.
Do we still have them?
I think we do. I think
Should we let people at some point see them? They
maybe
could give them to their loves.
maybe for a fee.
A super chat or two.
If you guys, how do you put a price on those Valentines though?
How do you put a price on love?
I mean, $2.50 is a good price.
I don't know. Everybody does.
Do kids still give Valentines at school, or is that just opening them up for getting in trouble?
Getting harassed.
Are they allowed? I remember there was like a controversy. I don't know how it was when Amanda was little. There was like a controversy at my school of whether they were going to force you to give every kid in the class a Valentine.
I thought that was kind of always
As
what you were supposed to do anyway.
you have to give it to everybody.
Yeah, that's why they make those Valentine's packs. I bet you those Valentine's packs, those ones that you get when you're a kid, I bet they had just enough, for a normal sized classroom. It's probably 30 plus Valentines, I bet.
Just to cover every kid in like a standard class. That makes sense. Last time I heard it was that you couldn't give things unless you gave them to everyone.
I think that's right, yeah.
And Durakin's mean. He said, I wouldn't give a Valentine to the ugly kid. They have enough problems.
Ugly is a sliding scale, though.
Victoria's Secret are one of those gifts women accuse you of giving for yourself when you happen to be a guy. I wouldn't. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if I got some girls' undies.
Would you be like, you got this for yourself?
How dare you?
That would be funny, actually.
That'd be a cool, comedy skit.
The girl's like, look what I got. And like, oh, so you got yourself a gift?
Well, I know, I'm not going to name names because people know these names. This guy that got his wife a stripper pole for Christmas, or it was her birthday.
Did she ask for one?
I'm not going to get any more detail.
But I have so many more questions.
Just know she showed it off with pride.
Aw.
Yeah. And my wife and I were looking at it awkward.
Well, what do you say? Like, it's lovely. It's really nice.
I hope it's been installed properly because I've seen some videos where they fall and people get hurt.
Those are hilarious. Is that what those things are for? It reminds me of those schools that ban best friends because it excludes people. There's no way that's real.
Man,
How
do you control that?
They take them away?
To the gulag.
Well, if you have a best friend and you guys want a Chrono Valentine, let us know.
Yeah, we'll find them. They're probably buried in the T-Bear archive somewhere.
There's a giant archive of like really cool Chrono stuff. I forget where that thing is.
Oh, I found this. Oh, actually, my wife.
There we go. Speaking of Chrono stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of Mike, this was Mike had a publishing company called Alias, and he was nice enough to publish the second volume of Black and White. No, not Black and White. It was Chrono Mechanics. Yeah. And the first volume came out through Image, and then we did 4 more issues through Alias. So he had this huge table, like Alias had this huge table right in the middle and the front at San Diego Comic-Con. It was prime real estate. So what we did is we were trying to come up with a promotional thing that we could just hand people, get like freebies that people get at like San Diego. And this was one of them. And I think it had like, if you pre-ordered the book, you got a $1 discount or something like that with this. I think there's a coupon in here.
Nice.
Yeah, so the come on was bored with your comics, time, because it's time travel, time for a change. Do you long for fun, action, adventure, time travel, big bosom damsels in distress? Then, ... Could you imagine the big bosom damsels in distress if we handed this out at San Diego now? We'd probably be crucified.
Probably.
And then you flip it open and it says Hack Shack Studios and Alias Enterprises want you to read the greatest comic of all time. So then it has a brief rundown on the concept, and then it introduces the characters and that this is their alter ego, and then they turn into a chrono mechanic. And it's not just an adventure, it's their job. And then you flip it and there's your $1 off coupon on the back. And check this out, you guys. This is how clever we are here at the shack. Then you fold it open.
Yes.
You get a poster. Look at that.
A kick-ass poster, too.
Oh, the cleverness of me.
I always like the way that was colored, too. It's a really good piece.
Yeah, this is a snake bite.
Pretty cool.
Snake bite.
Gotta love those mechanics.
Yes. That was fun. Memories.
So yeah, lots of really cool Chrono stuff in the vault. It's real. Based on people aren't allowed to date unless they don't exclude people from special time. I don't know. I could see that, I guess. Like, don't tell people they're your best friend because it'll hurt your other friends' feelings, I guess. I don't know.
What if you say to those people too that you're my best friend? What if you just like compulsively just tell everybody that they're your best friend?
Well, it would probably
at that point you'd have no friends, right? If the school had its way,
they take them all away.
Take them all away.
Or you feel like it turns you into a compulsive liar because you have to tell everyone that they're your best friend because they shamed you into thinking that it's going to hurt everybody's feelings.
That's what happens. I remember. Okay, Amanda had a birthday party early on. Women are awesome. You know, Pam was like, well, who should we invite in her classroom? And I said, well, just your friends. And she's like, well, we can't because some of those kids won't, they won't be able to come and they'll feel bad and all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, some of them might not even know her or even like her. And then she's like, we have to invite all of them.
Oh, gosh.
Oh my gosh. This place was insane.
You have a pool. No kid's going to say no.
Yeah. You're like 30 kids here. It was crazy. We had a bouncy house and I think we even had a clown.
How old was she?
Oh gosh. She was probably in maybe kindergarten or first or second grade, somewhere in there.
Oh man, like that many kids at that age, high maintenance.
Oh, and they cry and they yell and they punch each other. It was insane.
They're still very primal at that age.
Yeah, the kids, especially the boys, are doing destructive things out in the yard. Trouncing the flowers and stuff. Little boys are pretty destructive.
They are.
They can be. Not all of them. At least they were in my yard.
You have a nice yard too, so I can imagine.
I was like, no, not the gazanias.
Go play in the pool. My brother had like one giant birthday party in elementary school, and the only thing I remember about it was A, there was a million kids, and B, some little girl accidentally cussed in front of her dad, and I witnessed like full dad rage, and it was really funny.
Ooh.
Because we were like, we had a big piñata, and I just remember like we were waiting in line, and like some other younger kid, he's like, let him go before you, and she's like, but I want to go, and he's like, you gotta let him go before you, and she goes, this is bull, and then she stopped, and he's like, what did you say?
Ooh.
And she was like,
Nothing.
like the look on her face is like, uh-oh. It was pretty funny. Let's see. Someone needs to make a comic imprint called Unoriginal Comics. That's not fun. That's going to be like low in the Diamond catalog. Why? Let's
You
see.
ever type things in the chat and then just go, that wasn't really that funny.
That one really didn't land. But
I'm not saying it wasn't funny. It'll probably hit me in about an hour. I'll laugh my ass off.
Unoriginal Comics. You won't have best friends anymore, just as you won't have your own kids, in quotes, but treat all the kids in the neighborhood equally. Well, that's never going to happen with me because I don't like children.
It's impossible to treat everybody equally. Like that's just the thing is at best in life, like you're raising, you think like, I think that's the problem with some of the more liberal sided is they think that the world is supposed to be fair, but the world isn't supposed to be fair. The world isn't fair, and the world can never be fair. The thing is, we strive with legal and laws and things like that to be equal. Like when we constitute, laws and rules and regulations, we try to make those as fair as possible. But as far as life is concerned, there is no such thing as fairness. It just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in nature, and it doesn't exist in our lives. Like there's all kinds of craziness that happens on the Serengeti. Like animals are like babies are born and then they're eaten by some predatorial. There's no fairness.
It's the nature of life. You can't.
Yeah, you can't. Fairness is something we strive for. Fairness is something that we aspire. But fairness doesn't really exist and can never exist. The best we can do is just try to legislate it and try to make our rules and laws as fair as possible. And that's what we do.
Yeah, that's why the laws have to be so general and apply to everybody without exception.
Exactly, because if it benefits this group, then it benefits this other group, and so on and so on. And by doing that, then you can at least come close to guaranteeing that it's fair for everybody.
Because you can't tailor them to specific people. It won't work.
Yeah, you can't say like we're gonna legislate this for these people specifically or whatever. It has to benefit everybody, and if it doesn't, then it is in its nature unfair.
Yeah.
So you can't really overcompensate with law or rules. They have to be, if they work for this group, it has to work for the other group, and so on and so on. Otherwise, then the nature of it isn't fair.
I agree with this too. Lester Ryan says, forced, dishonest kindness is often more cruel than the truth, cushioned in compassion. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, well said.
Yeah, because that's another thing too. Like, it's kind of like forcing someone to apologize.
Yeah, like we talk about that.
Like, would that ever make you happy? Like, it's not. It's meaningless.
And also, like I think you pointed out at some point, when you're forced to apologize, is it really? Do you really feel bad? Do you really feel whatever it is? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are you really apologizing because it's from the heart and you really feel it, or are you apologizing because you were forced to say it?
Yeah.
And if you're forced to say it and you apologize, then, like you said, it's false, and it sends out false messages. And I just don't think that we should do that. Because
if you start doing that with everything, then even like compliments become meaningless. Because you could never trust anybody to be genuine in a positive or a negative way. Like if they're not allowed to give you negative criticism, if they give you a compliment, it will mean equally nothing.
Yeah.
And we don't want to live in that world. Simon says, whoa, art is philosophizing.
Yeah, I am waffle sizing. Waffles.
Mm,
I like waffles more than pancakes. Do you?
I do, but the real question is waffles over French toast.
No.
I think French toast is
French
the
toast.
best of them all.
The only thing about French toast is I have to be pretty darn hungry in the morning to eat French toast. That is a meal.
It is. It's very
Filling.
yeah. It's not something like, you know, at Denny's and stuff, it's like the French toast meal and it comes with like eggs and stuff. Like French toast in and of itself is the meal.
Is a meal. Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. Does any anonymous professional comic book artist have permission to draw over your work in 15 to 20 years? Asked Dynamo.
Are you asking now so you can get my permission before I perish? Why, yes. Buy a black and white issue and draw the heck over it.
If it's purchased or gifted, crepes are the best, says Jurokin.
Crepes are lighter. Yeah, they are good.
I've never had one before.
My wife's all about the craps.
I heard they're very good.
Oh, did you ever eat at that crepe place by your house?
No, it's still on my list. The La Creperie or whatever it's called.
Oh my God, what? I'm not a shrimp person.
It's packed all the time, by the way.
It's expensive, but Taylor, it's really good. You know what? You should have TJ for Valentine's Day.
He'll never do that.
What? La Creperie.
I already volunteered that I had a coupon for a place, so he was all for it. I want to go there though. Maybe I'll go with Blue. She'll try new things.
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
I've never had French food ever.
You know what? I may be French, but French food is really, really good. I often say, God, somebody had an answer for me, and maybe in the chat they can chime in. Why are there not more French restaurants? Like in Southern California, there's Mexican restaurants on every corner.
Yes.
That's not even an exaggeration.
Literally, there's one on the corner here.
Sometimes there's like multiples on the corner. And if we don't have that, we have the guy in the cart that's selling the corn with the chili on it.
Yes, elote.
Yeah. There's a guy, have you seen him? He's selling like some kind of like
fruit.
Fruit. Yeah, he's selling fruit.
We talked about that because it's in front of a nice house, and you're like, I hope that's his house.
Yeah, like did he get permission to set up camp in front of this person's house?
His cart's like right on the corner in front of their house.
Right in their driveway. He's got to move his cart when they come home from work.
What if they don't know? What if they like go to work and they don't know there's ever a guy there?
Then they set up cameras. Like they finally like, you know, there's like these weird tire tracks and like there's seeds, like fruit seeds all over the corner there.
That'd be funny.
And then they watch the video and there's like this whole enterprise that's going on in front of their house.
It's a line, some kid just throwing his half-eaten watermelon slice on the ground.
Spitting seeds.
That'd be a good gag in a movie where like a family returns home after a long absence and there's just a fruit guy set up in their driveway. French food is really expensive. It's mostly fine dining, says Dynamo.
Yeah, so good. When I lived in Hermosa Beach, there was a French restaurant. And my wife and I used to go there. So good.
That's why, D. Geekart says, that's why I always try to hit up Monsieur, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'll say this, Monsieur Marcel at the Grove in Los Angeles. It's a great French food. There's a great place there too.
Wait a minute, there's a French restaurant at the Grove?
I guess so.
Wow.
Monsieur Marcel, interesting.
I'm gonna go then. Maybe that'll be my Valentine's Day with my wife.
That'd be a good one. Or you can go to the creperie. I've actually seen crepe food trucks. Yeah, I have too, actually.
Yeah, they're not hard to make.
But I want to try like various French food, not just crepes.
Well, the cool thing that I think is cool about French, it's not a presentation, it's just the way they eat. They eat in courses. So here, excuse me guys, I'm sorry. You get like a meal and everything's on one plate. There they have plates and the salad isn't first, I don't think. So they give you like, here's vegetables, here's the main course, here's a salad, here's a dessert. And being American, when you get these things, you're just like, there's nothing on the plate, right? You're just like, this is absurd. There's no way I'm going to get enough food. And so what happens is between the courses, there's time for your palate, to cleanse your palate. And so then when the new plate comes on, you're ready for something new. And so then it's like a new, I don't know.
It's cleansed in between.
Yeah, adventure, kind of dining adventure. And so then, and the way it's all kind of paced out, that you find yourself not overly full, but just the right amount. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever eaten a meal where you eat too much and you're like, I feel sick.
Gorged myself because I was starving.
Or you eat a meal that you didn't have enough. But then when you have those meals that they're so balanced and it's perfect, like the amount that you really feel good after.
It's like it forces you to digest and pace yourself.
Yeah. And that's kind of how it is. It's very different,
but
I really enjoy it. And since we moved out here, I haven't eaten at a French restaurant, and I haven't really been to the French part of Canada in years either. So I haven't had French food, like authentic French food, in a long time.
D Geekart says about that Monsieur Marcel. It's a gourmet grocery and French restaurant. I don't know if they do courses, but it's always very, very good.
I'm there.
And Draken says, crepes from Kate Cart are more like ice cream cones, but you can get crepes as a meal too. Cheese crepes are delicious.
Yeah, well, like that one that Taylor and I are talking, that's close to her house. They have meat and stuff in it. They're not just like,
it's like a dinner place.
Yeah. There's like it's almost like God, what do they call those? An omelet. Where you can stuff them with ham or with seafood or crab or whatever it is. And I think that place by you has dessert crepes, but they also have like meal type crepes too.
It's a very popular place. The Last Orion says, so what Art is really saying is that he can't fully describe the French dining experience and wishes to invite us to all have food at his place to demonstrate.
Sure. And you know what? If I invite one, I'm going to have to invite all of you. So
you don't want to leave them out. They might get a complex.
Yeah, they get a complex. And you know what, you guys? None of you are my best friend. You're all my best friend.
That was so fair, millennial.
Even you, Durakin. All right. Is it? I say this. Is it Durakin or Durakin?
He said it's supposed to sound like you're saying dragon. So I always say Durakin.
Okay. So I apologize if I said it wrong.
Makes it sound like I have a weird lisp or something. My new favorite place in Los Angeles was recommended by a voice actor I met at LA Comic-Con. It's called Pie Hole, and it's amazing.
Wait a minute, there's a Pie Hole. What's that TV show that...
Pie Hole.
What is that show? Pushing Daisies, right? Isn't it like the pie
I think it is called
the Pie Hole. I didn't know there was an actual restaurant called the Pie Hole.
I do
Fill
like
your pie hole.
Where do you stand on the pie versus cake debate, Art?
It really, really depends. When I was young, I liked cake. However, when I'm older, I think I would probably be more on the side of pie. However, if you can stuff cake with fruit, then that's it.
Like a strawberry layer cake or something?
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff too. Like, also, I'm not a cheesecake, really like a big cheese, especially the New York stuff, because it's really dense. It's really
like eating
filling.
Frosting.
Yeah. But if they can put fruit in it and stuff, I'm like, yeah. My wife makes a cherry cheesecake.
Yum.
Yeah, it's real good.
Let's see. I feel so non-specifically loved, said the Last Orion.
Well, good. That's what I intended.
They have, apparently at the Pie Hole, they have a custardy cheesecake pie called the Cereal Killer.
Ooh.
It is Fruity Pebbles flavored and topped with whatever breakfast cereal you want.
Fruity Pebbles. We had a whole thing on it yesterday. We're not big Fruity Pebbles people. Although Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles,
That would
delightful.
That would be good, I think. The answer is that no one likes cake. They just like frosting. Cake makes you put up with bread to eat the frosting. That's kind of true.
Yeah. Although, I don't know, man. I got turned off on cake. My wife, she's kind of a gourmet. She cooks and makes all this stuff. So she took a cake decorating class. She started mixing up the frosting. And she was scooping out like lard.
Oof.
I'm like, what is that? She goes, this is the base of the frosting. And I'm like, what? And she's going, yeah. And then you add sugar and flavoring to it. I was like, you know what? It's like one of those things in your life where it just boggles your mind. And you're like, no way. And she goes, yeah, like decorated cakes and a lot of cakes, actually. The frosting base is, what is that, Laura? Like Crisco or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, that's it. I'm out. Not that I'm like major health minded when I eat, but the thing is, I don't want to just eat sugared lard.
Eat this sugar fat on top of bread.
Doesn't that just sound like you lost a bet, right?
You could eat this fat, but you have to put sugar on it to make it better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's nuts. So yeah, I stopped that. But there's what is it now?
The whipped frosting.
It's like a dairy frosting. What is it? My wife makes it now.
That's American buttercream. I don't like it. That's why French buttercream or whipped cream frosting.
Yeah. That's better. Like when it's dairy based versus freaking lard. This is a lubricant, man.
That's so gross.
It's pretty common though.
That's why I like that frosting so dense on a lot of those cakes, I guess.
Well, I think like Hostess, like there's some things that are holdovers from when I'm a kid, and I still have to do them every once in a while. So like Hostess, I've said it here. I kind of grew up poor-ish. We never did without, but you know what I mean. Like we didn't have a lot, and so like Hostess snacks were like something that you just pined over, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, a Twinkie, or like a Ho-Ho, or a Suzy Q. And so then when you get one as a kid, you're like, oh, this is a special day, right?
Aww.
So then sometimes when I'm at a supermarket or whatever, I go, oh man, look at that Ho-Ho or whatever.
I must have it.
Yeah, I must have it. So I buy it, and I'll tell you, I've never, ever as an adult been satisfied with one of those Hostess treats. Because I'll bite into it, I just go, what the heck? And the icing is really, it's like that dense, like it doesn't seem to break down. You guys try to like put that on like a knife or something, and then try to wash it off with water. It doesn't come off, man.
It's true. It's very like waxy, like it'll smear.
I mean, you have to melt it off. Like you have to use like scalding hot water to clean a utensil. But is this weird conversation? Are we just losing everything?
I mean, no weirder than what we usually talk about.
And so I still do it, but I'm always just disappointed. This really is bad.
I make a pretty mean Victoria sponge cake, says D Art.
Sponge cake, yes.
I learned in the UK it's a vanilla sponge cake with whipped cream frosting and fruit like strawberry or cherry filling. That sounds like...
There you go.
That's like the kind of cake that I like too.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
That sounds very good.
Yeah, that does sound good.
You know what the worst cake is? Like the kind of cake you get from like Albertsons, like a kid's like birthday party.
Yeah, I think that's that oil base. And
the frosting's just giant.
Yeah.
Last Ryan says, I like how often art steams into discussions of food and childhood. That's our jam. The worst cake is the type you have to make. I like making cakes. But I agree.
But just so you don't ostracize the chat, I agree.
Let's see.
You know, do you have a situation where you would rather have taken a bullet to the head or had that? I was just thinking about that lady. Like,
why don't you just Dude, what if? Oh God, I don't even want to quote her.
I would rather have just taken a bullet to the head. Really, you'd be dead right now. That's better.
That's horrible. That's sad.
How is death? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm dwelling on that.
I know it haunted you. It haunted
is.
me too.
It's affected my psyche.
I'm not gonna forget that. I'll be thinking that on the ride home.
I'm not going to be laughing about it, but it affected me, but not quite in the way that she might have intended.
My jokes make you think and be sad, not laugh. That's real comedy.
Comedy should make you sad.
Comedy should be about childhood trauma.
And ho-hos.
Although when Bill Burr talks about his childhood, it's pretty hilarious. But obviously, I think if he said, I'd rather a bullet in my head, it wouldn't be as funny.
If Bill Burr said it, would be hilarious. Are you kidding?
Do you ever when he told the story about getting beaten up by a girl? He was like in 3rd grade because he said he liked her sister, so he pushed her or something. She's like, don't hit my sister. She beat him up. And he said he was crying and like limping home. Poor Bill.
You remember the time where you fantasized about mushing the muffins into the fair girl's face? What if I mashed your muffins?
She was like selling them at a booth or something. They're like intricately decorated or something, right?
Yeah. He was talking about how lame it is going to. This is Valentine's related, where you do things for your girl, right? And that you absolutely hate. And so they drag you to places like the State's Fair or like, things like that. And so he's talking about this fair or carnival. And so he's like, there's like, oh, look at this jewelry. Because he does that voice.
He has the best girl voice.
The girl voice is hilarious. It's like, oh, jeez. It's like, oh, yeah, that it's made with a, I don't know, a straw and a toothpick or whatever. He goes, it's essentially trash. He goes, and then she's like, oh, that's cute. It's so, God, what is he? I forget.
It's so quirky.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then he's like, listen, if they can't sell this in a store, then it's not that good. And so then he's like, he just kind of had to leave her for his own sanity. So then he went over to the muffin top place. And so then he just had this fantasy about mashing the muffins just to see that poor lady react to the fact. And so he's like, why are you smashing the muffins?
Smashing them.
He's just smashing them with his fist. Why are you doing that? And then okay, guys, all right, this is a guy thing. And okay, women too. Okay. I don't want to, choose one over the other. But it's two sides of the argument. Okay, where the guy, it's usually a guy, and Bill Burr talks about this, and I've experienced this more times than not, where you're hanging out with either your guy friends or you have like a really twisted thought, and you think it's so funny, right? So then you go to your girl, right? And you go, oh man, I had this fantasy about mashing these muffins right in front of the muffin lady.
What's wrong
and
with you?
Like, and then the girl's just like, you're a monster. Why would you think that? That's horrible. And yeah, I've done that a couple of times.
That's how TJ and I bonded before we got together, though.
Oh, really?
Because we used to always talk about stuff like that.
It's just horrible things that you do.
Because I remember one of the things we were first kind of dating was some girl had her bike in front of the movie theater, and she was like trying to, I don't know, she was having some trouble with it. Like I think she was like she had a hurt, I don't know, she got injured or something. So when she got on the bike, she was kind of wobbly. And she was like struggling up the hill. And I was like, what if when she got to the top of that, I threw this stick into the spokes? Because she was working so hard to get up there.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
And we both started laughing hysterically.
Oh my God.
Because she was working so hard to get up the hill.
That's when TJ turned to you and you go, you're a keeper.
And we've been together ever since.
Yeah, my wife and I bonded over Rick James and the Three Stooges. And
that's a rare one.
Yeah. Oh, this is the trifecta. And she talked about her love for Ben Grimm.
And that's when you knew.
And that was it, man. Because there's not a lot of women that love the Stooges.
Ben Grimm is like an underrated. I guess he's not as popular as he used to be.
I can't wait till the Marvel, cinematic are able to do the right thing by that character. He was always one of my favorites.
Do you have like an actor in mind that you think would like play him well? Because he's a really hard one to cast, I think.
Well, my thing is, if they got that guy, I forget the actor that does Rocket, if they could cast that guy, then they can find the perfect Ben Grimm. What is his name from?
Oh my gosh.
What's the actor?
He's a legit actor. It's going to drive me crazy.
Yeah, but when he does Rocket, it's not like any character I think I've seen him play before.
And it's so weird because he was like, I guess not the lead, Lady Gaga was the lead, but he was one of the leads in A Star Is Born, and he's kind of like making a voice in that, and his voice is like really deep, and he kind of has an accent, and the whole time I was just thinking like, that's the same person that does that raccoon, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the same man that does Rocket's voice. Like the way he talks in that movie, I was like, you would never in a million years guess it was the same person.
Yeah, and that's a sign of I always think that's a sign of a good actor.
He's good.
Yeah, he's really good. I can't imagine anybody else. But I think you would have to cast somebody that could mocap the character. I don't think a suit would work. And if they can do the Hulk as good as they do, I think they could do Ben Grimm, and get somebody to be able to act the character out really well.
Yeah.
And do the voice.
I trust Marvel at this point. We'll see how we feel after Captain Marvel comes out.
Yeah, that's going to be the...
Bill Burr is awesome, says Simon. Do you guys watch F is for Family? I watch F is for... Have you watched it yet, Art?
I have not. I haven't seen one yet.
It's very good. I think it's fun. Its last season was extremely good, but it's a hard one to watch in a family home because you never know how far it's going to go.
Yeah, Amanda's older now, so I don't get as uptight about that.
Let's see. There was a video where he talked about his father on stage and he cried. Aww.
Yeah, he's a very heartfelt guy, and it's weird because
that's like touching though, instead of being like a downer.
Yeah, and he does have a heart, like he's a compassionate guy.
Yeah.
So he comes across as kind of like this pig, by I guess most people's standards, or some people's standards. But to me, I think he just comes across as a normal guy.
He's very genuine.
And if you listen long enough, you realize that there's a sensitive side of the guy. He's not just a monster. Like
the story about having to give away his dog. Did you ever hear that?
I think so. Well, he's got a podcast, which is really good too. If you guys haven't checked that out.
Most of the time we're working on Super Sons, we listen to his podcast. Little Caesars. Why are you talking about Little Caesars Crazy Bread now? Little Caesars Crazy Bread is somewhat like Russian roulette. If you win, you get a massive amount of butter and grease, but it tastes so good. If you lose, you get disappointing stale bread.
Oh, and congealed grease.
That's a good, that's how life is.
It's like congealed grease. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's greasy and disgusting. Other times it's stale. Let's see. It's clobbering time is a classic line.
Yes.
That would be the line you got to test like the actor with. See if you can deliver it. Comic Book Bob says, dude, The Thing is one of my top 10.
Good. Yeah, we got to bring that guy back to the forefront in this more, I guess, where you can't let your toxic masculinity show. That character would probably be one of the most hated characters if you try to bring him back now.
But he's kind of sensitive too.
Yeah, but you'd actually have to be fair and read the books and find, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
just like Bill Burr, like, you have to kind of dig a little bit to find it.
That's true. And nobody wants to put in that kind of effort these days.
Yeah, they just want to hear the one line and then judge him.
Maybe that's why people are so angry.
Oh, yeah.
They don't actually look into anything at all.
Well, it's very soundbitey. So the way most things are structured up is like, here's a quick blurb to piss you off. You know what I mean? Like that's how everything's structured now. Were you having a good day? Well, not anymore.
Have you seen that meme going around? It's two pictures. One picture is like the close up, and it's like this crying little boy's face. There's a boot on his head, so it's like somebody's stepping on him. And then the zoom out is he has the boot on his own arm, and he's putting it on his head with his hand.
Oh.
And it says the CNN footage on the close-up.
Exactly.
That's so true.
Yeah. They're victims, but by their own hand.
This is how they would report it. It's pretty funny. Let's see. How dare that ugly, bald, stone white man, NASA pilot, date a blind man? He's totally taking a blind woman. He's taking advantage of her.
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot the girl he was with was
Alicia.
blind.
What was her name? Alicia Mathers? Or what was her name? Alicia something.
I don't remember. I remember there was a comic one of the few Fantastic Four comics I ever read. He was dating this other chick.
Masters.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the other. He dated this girl, and then he found out that she was she was basically playing him because her family or something owned this medical business, and they wanted to get a sample of his skin or something to try to use it. And then he found out that she was using him, and then in order when he went to confront her, he just ripped a piece of his rock skin off, and he was you could have just asked.
Yeah.
It was sad. He's a nice man.
Yeah, I still remember that when I was a kid where Alicia's sculpting his face. So she's feeling his face and then she sculpts it. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty neat. That's one thing that they didn't really Alicia Masters. They didn't, or they haven't.
He's a nice orange man. I'm sorry.
He is. They didn't ever try to replicate. He has that iconic face shape. And in all of his incarnations in live action, they haven't really tried to give him that distinctive head shape that he has. And I don't know why.
Oh, with the brow. Yeah, they have to do that.
Because the costume one, he didn't have it and it looked pretty terrible. And then in the newer one, he didn't really have it either. That's his iconic look.
Well, there's one thing that Hollywood does, and I don't know if it's because of the mocap or what, but they try to overly humanize some of these characters. So instead of cool design, which Ben Grimm is, they try to it's sort of like Ben Grimm, but sort of like the actor. So, and then they try to make them look too human, or they put human eyes,
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel about the Ninja Turtles, the Michael Bay thing, but I thought that those designs were really bad. They try to give them human eyes and
the mouth and everything.
Yeah, and the mouth and everything. And then what was it that you and I were talking about? I thought it was your observation. I thought it was really smart. And it's, once again, what Hollywood does is they did in Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, they had Ultron that had a mouth that moved. And one, it makes absolutely no sense because the reason our mouth moves is because we need to make sounds with it. But his sound isn't there's not vocal cords. It isn't that complex. It's probably digital.
He doesn't need a mouth. Why does he have these weird plasticky lips?
Yeah, he's got lips and everything. So I just thought that's one of those, where Hollywood tries to humanize the characters a little too much. And it's I don't, 3PO is cool because his mouth doesn't move. And you get to see the expression, the way they shoot it and the way there's compassion, there's excitement, there's awe, there's, he's scared. And it's all the way they light it or the context or the angles, that they film it in.
Yeah, he's still expressive.
Yeah, he's still expressive, but it's not the obvious, his eyebrows don't move or his mouth doesn't move and all that other stuff. And I think Vader's the perfect, there's never a brow that arches or anything.
Can you imagine if there was?
Yeah, it would be stupid.
It's so dopey.
And then, just think about that one shot where Vader is kind of turning. It's the last movie, just before he turns on the Emperor, and there's that cutback, and he almost looks sympathetic. How the hell did they do that? I think it's the same helmet and everything.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Like the way the light plays upon it and stuff too is a big factor. It's really weird.
And the angle, the camera's at and everything. He looks really sympathetic.
Yeah, the sculpt is like, it's a really good design. Whether it was a happy accident or not, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, but that's just the example of that. You don't have to go to that extreme to have these characters' mouths all move or their eyebrows and everything else. Because I thought that Ultron character would have looked better if the mouth didn't move.
I feel like he'd look more robotish too, because like D Geek Art brings up, like R2 is totally sassy. Yeah, like they have personalities. And I feel like you really buy those droids as being robots because of how they look. And you don't buy Ultron being a robot because he looks like a rubbery CGI puppet.
Yeah, almost too human.
Yeah.
And they kind of, I don't know, they pushed it a little bit in the Transformers where they had their mouths move. And I didn't think that was necessary.
I didn't like how intricate, like how many pieces they had on them, like how busy their faces looked with all the little lip pieces and stuff.
Yeah.
Personally, I still haven't seen Bumblebee. The Bumblebee Optimus Prime is the best Optimus. It has no mouth.
Oh, cool.
That's pretty cool.
The original design, he doesn't have a mouth, right?
Yeah, he's got
It's
like
just
a
that piece over his.
It's cool looking. They were clever in showing emotion R2 via both sound and head turning / shaking, etc.
It's all pantomime. Like he's a mute character, and it's all pantomime.
It's pretty cool. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Let's see. Don't tell John Malin. Why?
About the Bumblebee thing?
Does he hate Bumblebee?
I thought he liked it.
I thought it looked. I don't know. I've been hearing very mixed things about it.
I've been hearing things.
Have you seen art like they're really pushing the Battle Angel Alita stuff now? It's like all over social media.
I'm not. I never like to wish ill on anything, but I don't see how that thing's gonna work. I really don't. All the ads have for like her eyes look so reduced in all the ads I've seen. Like they know. It's such an obvious. It should be such an obvious, really cute aesthetic, almost like childlike. The character has a really big head, like in the comics and stuff. Yeah. And there are actors like I always thought when she was young, really young. What is her name? Christina Ricci. Yes. Because she always had like a big melon. Christina Ricci looks like an anime character. Yeah. She's got like the bigger eyes, and she's I don't know, I haven't seen her in years, but there was a phase that she seemed like she had a pretty big head. Yeah, she had like a small woman body and then like a little girl head that was giant. And she has those gigantic eyes. Kind of like Winona Ryder had that kind of like dimensions too. Like she always seemed like a little girl. Because she has those big, sad looking eyes. But she also seemed like she had like a bigger head. Like I think she does. Like her body is kind of tiny and her head is a little big. She's the best. In the day, she would have made a great Battle Angel. She really would have. I can totally picture that. Like when she was in her early 20s. Yeah. Oh, man. Shouldn't have waited so long, James Cameron. She was wasted in Alien Resurrection. She sure was. She was a robot in that. Yeah. With a weird arm port thing. I held out some hope for that movie. The actress they chose for Alita Sescali is way too old. I haven't even seen her because her face is completely... That's not her face. No, it's completely altered. That's what I thought. Let's see. They're still in the uncanny valley. If you're talking about Christina Ricci, I agree. Ryder is afraid of water. She had to struggle during those alien resurrection scenes. I think she struggles in life in general. Ryder is afraid of life. She had to struggle during all those scenes. God, what was that one that I liked the guy, but it was pretty, dare I say, douchey. It was some award ceremony. It was those Oh, what? The Stranger Things cast?
The Duffer Brothers and the guy that's playing Hellboy.
Yeah.
I think he's the one talking, right?
Yeah, and he gets like real pompous and everything. And then Winona Ryder's just like, what? What?
I love that not a single person remembers his speech or what he said because she was there. And everybody just remembers like, look, Winona Ryder's being silly. Like, that's all anybody remembers.
And you know what? That single moment is when I absolutely fell in love with her.
Because it's so funny.
I was like, yeah, like, what is he talking about? Like, I felt the same way. Like, in a weird way, I was like, yeah.
I can relate.
I can totally relate to what's going on right now because I don't know what the hell he's talking about either.
I know she kind of squints at one point, like, huh?
I think she's slack-jawed, too. She's just like, huh?
Yeah, her mouth is totally open.
Doesn't she just like stare off like at God, like what?
Yeah, then he says something and she squints.
Yeah.
And then she starts nodding. It's hilarious. And then somebody did the edit where they put in like a digital piece of pizza flying and it like follows her gaze.
She's just looking at the pizza floating around.
It looks like she's watching like a ghosted image of a pizza slice.
That's hilarious.
My husband is so disappointed in how the new Hellboy looks. I haven't had the heart to tell him CBS is making The Twilight Zone. What? CBS is remaking The Twilight Zone?
I don't know. They got to find some writers. I don't know. It seems like all that territory has been picked over so many times since the original Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Didn't they do a remake of The Twilight Zone? Like on Sci-Fi Channel or something?
A couple times, I think. And then the movie is. I think the movie just remakes of the TV show.
I think it was
Something on the wing.
It's gonna be. I don't know. The old ones are still really good and they still hold up. There's been so many pseudo remakes of it at this point, and I feel like Black Mirror is kind of the equivalent now. I know it's all about like technology, but
well, I was just gonna say because. Yeah, there's been even Twilight Zone type ideas that have been played out, in different media, films, TV. I just don't know what. All they can do is do like more contemporary takes on the same ideas, right?
Yeah, which is probably what they'll do. But like, where's the charm in that at that point?
Just watch the originals.
But like you said, there's been like. They may not have the Twilight Zone name, but there's been so many different shows that are pretty much the Twilight Zone at this point anyway.
And what did Disney lose? Or didn't they have the rights to it? Because they had that Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. So this is CBS. ABC is Disney, right?
What's weird is D. Geek says Jordan Peele is the host. He's like...
Oh, wait a minute. I did hear about this.
He's directing movies, though. How does he even have time to be a host of this stuff?
That's right. Well, he's the hope I give to it.
So they're going to sell it just on him, probably.
Well, just hearing that he's involved already, I feel better about it.
His new movie looks really good, and I'm trying to see like no spoilers about it because it looks pretty good. I think they did a survey and found that only 20% of people even knew there was a new Star Trek series. Really? That's weird to me just because the popularity of it. The new Twilight Zone will probably get gated behind because CBS All Access is barely watched. I actually heard, have you heard this, Art, that like cable's kind of dying? So the Oscars this year aren't going to have like a host or anything. And they're thinking about possibly making the Oscars like a streamed thing after this because I guess cable is doing so poorly.
So what's the difference between streaming and cable? Streaming where they just it's like Netflix kind of thing? Is that streaming?
Yeah, like I guess it'd be maybe even on YouTube or something.
Oh, like live streaming, like what we're doing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I guess cable is just like in such bad shape right now and nobody's really watching it.
You know what? Everything, like all media right now is up for grabs. I think the best bet right now is do like what we're doing.
I agree.
Is I think YouTube or like is it Twitch? Like those type of channels, I think. Because you watch, I said it, and it's not that much of an original observation, but YouTube is going to try to clean up, and they're already doing it. So that's why I think they're setting so much parameters and shutting people down and being so big brother-y. Is because I think they're trying to clean up the riffraff, and they're trying to set a precedent on how they're going to do this, because the only thing that's holding YouTube back right now from being the biggest, I think the biggest media outlet, is the fact that a lot of advertisers won't advertise or aren't as willing to advertise on the channel because the content cannot be controlled.
Yeah.
So what networks would do is TV shows and stuff, since the network, well, not networks, but the sponsors, the sponsors were the ones that were giving the networks the money to develop these shows. And so then all the shows that were developed on these networks went by the advertisers for okay. So everything had to be okayed by whoever was advertising in that time slot for that TV show. So I believe that what YouTube wants to do, and they would like to do it right now, but they just can't because of the way it's been set up all these years, and it's supposedly an open forum for everybody to express themselves, freedom of expression, right? Go to YouTube. That what they're trying to do is they want to start controlling it. They want to clean it up. They want to be able to censor it and monitor it, so that they can get some of these big advertisers on there to start dropping millions and millions of dollars onto their site.
Oh yeah, I think without question that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and once they've done that, then I think network TV and all this stuff is probably just going to go bye-bye, because I think all the advertisers are probably just going to go there.
I think so too. And I think if somebody made something that was legitimate competition for YouTube that was as user friendly and could possibly scoop up some of these like content creators that are kind of being done wrong, like then they'd have to kind of pick a side, I guess, but otherwise they won't ever. They'll just do what's right for the advertisers.
No, that's a great observation. And it's kind of like Kickstarter versus Indiegogo. Like Kickstarter pioneered the platform or whatever, but I think Indiegogo has perfected it.
Yeah.
So, and that's probably will be the saving grace, what you said. And that's actually gives me hope, actually, that the internet will not die and become like some kind of censored, media outlet, that if there was like a competitor that could come up and compete with YouTube, and then, like you said, all those content creators could go there, then I think that would be, you know what I mean? It would be able to continue this open format that we have, this forum.
Yeah, and like I know there's a couple that are kind of in the running, but they haven't found their footing yet. I think if I was a big money person, first I would finance getting like a black and white Netflix show. Besides that, after that,
God bless you.
If I was a big money person, like there's some big time YouTube people who have been kicked off the platform that have like a huge following. And I think like the YouTube Rewind, like how everybody's reaction in the community was to that, pretty universally bad. Like I would scoop up some of those people that have been done wrong and just make the platform and market it as like, we're the, like, you can have what you want. Like basically have like a rating on people's channels. So like if this place is uncensored, so if you watch this channel, that you could run into like whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you could have that. Basically, I think that would take a lot of people from YouTube, because the people who watch YouTube, I think, are attracted to stuff like we're doing right now, where it's kind of more raw. It's kind of more stream of conscious. It doesn't feel like an edited, perfect, like cable TV show type thing.
Well, especially ours.
Yeah, well, we do have HD now, though.
We're working on it, but yeah.
But I think like part of the attraction, like a lot of YouTubers who made it big, like a lot of them made it big because it felt, I don't know, it feels so different to like from TV. Like this is a really weird example, but like one of the biggest YouTubers, like Shane Dawson, I'm not really like a fan of him, but he built his fan base just being like an emo boy in middle America talking about his life. And people were just like riveted because it felt really personal that you're just kind of watching this guy. And now he's like a millionaire and he's still just kind of like, he does fancier stuff now, but the stuff that people were attracted to was just him talking about his life. And I think people are still attracted to YouTube channels that are kind of like that.
Yeah. I think a lot of the attraction is that you just really don't. Well, one, like people in the chat right now get to interact with us and get to interact with people, and two, it's all unedited. It is off the cuff. It's like whatever could happen. So every time you see these things, you don't know what's going to happen. With scripted TV, if you watch enough of it, you kind of can catch on to the patterns and then you know where everything's going.
And like you become a part of it. Like the chat right now, like they're a part of our show.
Yeah, a big part of the show.
So it's weird, like they're eliminating that element, I think, more and more. And like most of these people are big because of stuff just like that. James says, YouTube wants to be the internet streaming service for Google, who rely on corporate dollars. The problem is that homebrewed programming by individuals are what the platform has been built upon. Exactly.
Yeah, that's better said, but that's what we were trying to say.
Yeah, that was a concise way of saying what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
They keep claiming hate on alternative video sites to get the funding to YouTube competition destroyed or kept down. See, that's another thing why I bet it's hard to build this stuff, because YouTube kind of has a monopoly on it.
Yeah, and then they're setting up so many new rules and restrictions and such that it's hard for a YouTube content provider to keep up with it. Do you remember? God, I thought it was the best Howard Stern ever was when. Do you remember after the what was it, the Janet Jackson debacle?
Oh.
And when the government started coming down heavily on censoring, trying to control, what was coming out and things like that, I guess to try to safeguard us from ourselves. And so then they were constantly penalizing Howard Stern for saying X, Y, Z. And so Howard Stern finally, and this went weeks, and then Howard Stern finally was like, all right, and he talked directly to the guy that was in the government that was doing all this stuff, and he said, all right, so I don't get fined, and so we don't have a problem. He said, clearly write out exactly what I can do and what I can't do. Set up some bylaws, like this is how you can be, and this is the do's and don'ts. And so nothing. He never got anything back, and then just keeps getting popped, for these infractions. And the thing is, they don't want to do that because they just want to be able to pop you willy-nilly for anything. You know what I mean? Like they'll just make up something, and that will be the reason why they're going to pull your channel or penalize you.
Yeah.
Hey cheeky cheek.
Hey, hon.
Pamela's here, everybody.
Pamela.
Hey.
So that's what you get in this live content.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good. I haven't listened to him, in a long time because he's on Sirius now, but I think that was what
I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, and I remember it's because they can't define what is obscene, right?
Yeah, they could. They probably could, but the thing is, then he would figure out a way around their rules, say similar things, but if you know what I mean, and that's why they don't tell you, because then it's not as, it gives them less power, Because if they can just make up new things to pop you from and make things up willy-nilly, then you're constantly on the ropes and they can control you.
Yeah, because they don't want to give you the actual parameters.
Yeah, if they gave you the parameters, then you could actually either stray away from them, figure out ways around them, or if you did them, then you just pay the price. You know what I mean?
Because let's be honest, the whole thing was just construed so that they could control him anyway, which is why they have those rules in place.
There you go. Exactly.
Let's see. The only way to break the major corporations' hold on internet streaming service is to allow local businesses to advertise on videos based on viewer location. I don't know, because like they don't really give you a choice, I don't think, unless you get a sponsorship. Like if, and those are only like the biggest YouTubers get sponsorships. You don't really get to choose what ads are put on your video when you enable ads.
Yeah.
They choose. Let's see. That's why I watch video game streamers like Albino Liger, Markiplier, and Jacksepticeye, people who are just there to talk about similar interests like this and interactive entertainment. And those are some, like, Markiplier's a huge YouTuber. They keep claiming hate on alternate videos. Yeah, but because what you're saying, what was happening, I guess to get back to it, the Howard Stern thing is what they're doing on YouTube now when it comes to like hate speech.
Yeah, because they don't clearly define what hate speech is. They're just like, oh, it was hate speech. You know what I mean? It's just a general statement.
Yeah, like, because every channel, like every channel that even talks about political things are pretty much at risk of being
like us right now.
Yeah, like us right now.
I'm not speaking like, yeah, I mean, just to back up, I mean, it's kind of the nature of the beast. And I mean, YouTube wants to grow and they want to become, you know, the next media outlet. And you know, it's America. It's a free country. Do what you will. But at the same time, we will speak out and we will say what's fair, what's not fair as the peoples, the consumers. And that should be fair as well. The only sad thing is that YouTube and the internet was always set up to be like the people's forum. You know what I mean? Like where people, just average people, can voice, like, for right or wrong, you guys, like when people say things on the internet, it is how they feel. It is, you know, it is a freedom that they're exercising and they're putting it out there. And, you know, I mean, some of them are misguided, some of them aren't, but it's still exercising that freedom.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what's going to happen, like YouTube and these other, you know, like Facebook and these I guess platforms, is they're eventually going to try to start legislating, and they're going to try to keep controlling more and more of what the content will be, how to monetize content, and all those things, because they are a company, they are a corporation, and that's what they need to do. They need to always expand, they need to grow, and they need to build. And so that's how they're going to do it. Like I said, the sad thing is for people like us, that freedom is going to go away.
Yes.
So you're not going to be able to, like, anybody can pretty much have a YouTube channel or can go on Facebook or, you know, open sites and things like that. And I think what's going to happen more and more is you're going to see it be harder and harder for the average person to have a voice on the internet.
Definitely. It's and you know, you should be able to voice your opinion on these things.
Yeah.
Without being afraid of being like penalized about it.
But I think, like everything else, like the way things work is there's push and then there's pushback, right? So as long as people are willing to keep the corporations in line or are willing to fight for those rights, then they can't push you as far. But the problem will only be is if nobody pushes back. You know what I mean? If everybody freely gives up these cool freedoms of being able to say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Talk about crepes for hours.
I don't want to live in a world where we can't talk about crepes for hours.
Or draw our little images. Here's my Yee.
Uncle Yee.
Uncle Yee. I got to work out his. It's a little short-waisted. He is an older guy, so I want to make the belt up a little high, but it might be up a little too high.
He's in a corporate setting. He's got to cut loose a little bit.
What is that joke? Like when you get older as a guy, like the belt goes one of two ways. It either goes up to under your arms, or it just sags because your belly's so huge that's at your crotch. There's no in between.
I always thought it's really weird, like when you watch the old westerns and stuff, like their pants are up so high because they wear like they wear their like gun belt and stuff up so high. I used to think that they wore their gun belt up like higher, but really it's over their top belt.
Yeah.
And their pants are just up high.
We gotta have those guns up high so you can draw them quick.
Cool.
Quick draw.
Let's see what you guys are talking about. Pamela is the only reason I watch, says D Geek Art.
Want me to yell at her to get back in here?
It's like, who is this Pamela you speak of? Chad is explaining. Pamela is Art's wife, and she originally co-wrote to the original Black and White run in the 90s with him, and she is our editor now.
And chief.
Yes.
She cracks the whip.
She does. She makes us clean up our act on some of these scripts.
Keeps us honest.
A valuable asset to the Black and White team.
Yes.
Let's see what you guys are talking about. How many of there are you? I can't see. I'm watching this in well, I've been going for almost 2 hours.
We should probably
wrap it up soon.
Start to wrap.
There's a lot.
Kayla's gonna do some rap for you guys.
I can't. I'm not good with freestyle.
She's not good with freestyle. But you should see her breakdance.
Oh gosh. If we reach 52,000, I'll try it.
Is that still on the table? The 50? Is it 51? What is it for you to put the kiss makeup?
It was 50. Maybe I could push it to 51. By the way, speaking of Kiss, tomorrow at 1:30, we are going to have a new Kiss Corner. I'm looking forward to it. Are you ready, Art?
I'm ready. So the topic is the End of the Road tour. We get homework now. It's pretty cool. It's homework that we like though. So we have these homework assignments that we have to watch these videos, or we have to do some research, or we had to read Paul Stanley's book because Taylor wanted us to.
I'm always down to talk about Paul Stanley's book.
That dude's a knucklehead.
Wait till you guys see him tomorrow. I'm hoping with our new technology, we'll be able to show some visual screen share, maybe a little bit of the concert while we talk about it.
Yeah.
And hopefully YouTube won't bump us. YouTube, if you hear this, because I know you're always listening.
You're listening right now, aren't you?
This is for commentary purposes only. Don't bump our Kiss show, darn it.
Yeah. Well, now you said it. Now we're a target. We are a target. And also, we are going to talk about, what was it? It's kind of like stuff we're talking about here. What the future of rock and roll and that type of more, I guess, harder music is. And I think even pop music is experiencing some of these things too. Because Gene Simmons had a quote, or he was quoted, and said that he believes that rock and roll is dead. And he said that there will be no new bands that come up that are as iconic as, I don't know, Kiss, or Led Zeppelin, or some of these bands, the Beatles. So
is he right? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about, because he was mainly talking in reference to there's no infrastructure anymore because there's no music stores, and a lot of the rock stations have gone bye-bye. There were 2 or 3 local like rock stations here in LA, and they're gone now, and they're Mexican stations.
I think it's predominantly, right? Like it's predominantly Spanish music over here.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like Kiss FM, like a pop station, but that's, yeah.
Yeah, there's still like but those are like oldie stations. Like even Kayla West here is now kind of an oldie station because they're not playing. Well, I don't even know if there is new rock and roll. I mean, when Amanda was young, yeah, we would go to some of these local clubs and stuff like that. There's some great bands out there, but they're just like Gene said, there's just no venue.
And there's no scene really either.
Yeah, there's a live scene a little bit, but there's just no infrastructure. There's no record companies. There's no radio. There's no A&R guys. There's none of that stuff that exists anymore.
So we're going to be kind of debating that tomorrow. I think it's going to be an interesting show. See if Gene is right. We'll talk about the new tour, and it'll be at 1:30 PST in California time.
Yeah, and it should be fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one.
And if you guys don't know, we have Kevin Conrad, and Kevin Conrad is a comic book artist as well. I think he's most known for his X-Men run. I think he worked with Capullo and Tony Daniel, and then he followed them over to Spawn, and he inked Tony Daniel. I'm not sure if he inked Capullo, but he worked on Spawn and then worked on Psycho Circus, and he's a big Kiss fan, and he's also a drummer. So he's a drummer, and so then there's Scott Palacios, who's a childhood friend of mine, and when we were younger, we played in rival rock bands in LA and Hollywood, Orange County area. So we just hit it off. We're just like two peas in a pod. So we get along pretty well. I've known him for over 30, maybe longer, 35, 40 years. God, maybe 40 years. Oh,
wow.
Yeah. And so he's a drummer as well, but he's still working in the music industry. He does audiovisual. So he went to school and got his degree. I mean, more like recently, Taylor. That's cool, right? Like,
I know, it's weird to think about.
Yeah, that he went and he got all that stuff. So now he's all certified and everything. So he runs sound for a lot of these live venues and visuals. And so he's a co-host. And then, of course, Taylor, who's a comic book artist as well, writer.
I'm the only non-drummer in the Kiss Corner group.
But she has a voice. Oh my gosh, you guys should hear her sing.
Oh gosh, no.
She does rap too.
But if you guys join, I'll read your chat. So come in, join the conversation. Let us know where you stand on whether rock and roll is dead or not.
Yeah, and so then there's me, who's a drummer and artist as well. So yeah. It'll be fun.
I wonder if I was thinking about it, and let us know if we read the comments after these videos are no longer live. So let us know what you think. It'd be cool. I'm going to try to find a way if we could upload those episodes onto the podcast app, because it'd be cool to have them on there too as for a podcast thing.
The Kiss Corner stuff?
Yeah. I don't know how difficult it'll be to do, but I wanted to look into it because it'd be cool to have it listed on there too. Maybe get some cross traffic.
Yeah. It's all good. Yeah. So it's going to be fun. 1:30 Cal time tomorrow. And hopefully we're going to try to do some clips now too.
Yeah. We should have some footage.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, if you haven't liked and subscribed, well, I guess they subscribe, right? Or not?
If you haven't, hit that subscribe button.
And hit that bell for notifications.
That way you'll know. You'll never miss when we go live. And remember, Black and White, it's the 25th anniversary this year. And you can still get it in demand on Indiegogo, and the link in the description. We're going to be having it available until we go to printing. Stay tuned and keep posted by joining that newsletter to find out when Oodles of Doodles is going to go live. And do you have anything else we need to plug, Art?
No, is the newsletter info in the link there?
Yeah, newsletter should be the second or third link down. And please, if you guys want to get Art's advice, I know last time there were some aspiring artists that were interested. We are accepting submissions for the portfolio review because we'd like to do those again sometime soon. So go ahead and submit to that MediaFire link if you're interested.
Yeah, it'll be fun to start getting back into that portfolio reviews.
All right, you guys. We'll see you later. We'll see you tomorrow at Kiss Corner.
Yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.